I want to first start this program, this Juneteenth NGA, no contract, no job protest. And we're going to start this protest with a moment of silence, not just for George Floyd, but for all those who have fallen at the hands of anyone. And this is first and foremost, a peaceful protest for economic development and economic opportunity for the black community right here in St. Louis. But this is a problem all across this nation. And this is an issue that we must address, particularly in our backyard. And as you look across the street at the NGA, the National Geospatial Agency program and project, a $2 billion project that we all fought for, not just McCarthy, not just HIT, but we all fought for this project. We all fought for this opportunity. And so let us take just a minute for silence in the name of Mike Brown, our own Mike Brown, and for those who, George Floyd, give me some more now. Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Bland, Sister Bland, Von Derek Myers, Ball Bates, and Shannon Hippler. We have many, many more. Shout it out, shout it out. Trayvon Martin again. But this is for all those brothers whose names who did not hit the paper. There are many brothers and sisters in our community that did not get that recognition and did not get that publicity. But this is for all of those who have fallen at the hands of anyone that had created a crime. But we're going to just do a moment of silence for all of them. And now this program will proceed. We have a few speakers, and this program will focus on economic development. We believe that all things work together, and all the killing that we have seen in our community, particularly here in St. Louis, is all tied to economics. Due to the lack of economic opportunity, the deprivation of contracts and the neglect of training our young people in our community, this is where it has led us. It has also led us to an opportunity in our community through the NGA. This $2 billion project has a DBE goal of 3% that should go to disadvantaged businesses. But we fought for and we got a minority business program that offered 25% MBE participation, with 21% going to African Americans. And that's what we're fighting for. That's right. In that program, we also asked for training components and jobs. 14% of the jobs should go to African Americans, local African Americans, and 21, as I mentioned, 21% of those contracts should go to local black businesses. And to date, at the NGA, we have 0 black contractors, 0 joint venture partnership, 0 local black employment, 0 black consultants. And so we've been zeroed out. And this is why we fight. This is why we kneel. This is why we fight. And we say to them today, no contracts, no peace, no jobs, no peace, no contracts, no peace, no jobs, no peace. Now, the history of this project has been in our community for over 100 years. The NGA West site moved from south to north. We're in a community that's comprised roughly 100% African American, and to have no African American participation on this project, it just simply is wrong. It's wrong, it's unethical, and more than likely it's illegal. And we're working on that legal aspect to see what we can do to fight at the table. But if we can't fight at the table, we know how to fight. We will fight in the streets. We will shut this project down. If we can't work, then they can't work. It's just that simple. And I want those to know that's here today, we have been here before. This is not new. We've run this gamut for many, many years. And we're right back here today fighting for the same reasons and the same purposes. And this time, Mike Brown time, George Floyd time, we're going to stick together, we're going to work together, we're going to organize ourselves, and if they won't give it to us, we're going to take it. We're going to take this contract. If we can't work, then they won't work. They will not come from out of town and out of state to work in a black community with no black employees. It just simply isn't right. And again, it borders on illegal. And we're looking at the legal aspect of it. But right now, we're upset. We're working with McCarthy. We're meeting with the president from time to time. But we made it clear that if we can't get contracts, then we will fight you. We will fight in the streets. We will fight in the courts. We will fight over there on your lot if we have to. But we will fight you. Now, right now, I want to bring to the stage our distinguished guest and speaker, our sister. And I've been knowing the young lady, the senator, for many, many years. She has always been out here speaking, working, talking up for what's right for our community. And I would be remiss not to have our senator, Paula May, speak today. You all give a hand and big welcome for our senator, Senator Paula May.
No justice,
no peace.
No justice,
No peace.
No justice,
No peace.
I want to thank Brother Murry for organizing this event. If anybody don't know what's happening right now around the whole world, there is a revolution taking place. If you just look at the people that was marching in Singapore, all across the world, there's a revolution taking place. And this revolution is because of the injustice that has been dealt to African Americans in America. We can't be the moral compass for the world if our own house is not right.
That's right.
So what we're asking for and what we should get, we shouldn't even have to have quotas. Because when you come into a city that is predominantly African American, we outnumber every demographic by almost 14,000 people. The job site should be reflective of that demographic. And this is a federal project. So the federal government should not hire a general contractor who's going to not hire subcontractors to make that difference. But for me, I don't like sharecropping anyway.
All right now.
So I think that what we need NGA and the federal government to do is come to the table. And if they don't come to the table, I'm just telling you, I'm standing with you. I'm going to do everything from my position and power to ask them to sit down and have this conversation as to why there's no African American working at this site.
Amen.
We want economics. We don't need no handout. We want economics. That's what we want. We want jobs. That's what we want. And if the country and the system continues to lock us out, this is how we will respond. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Join the revolution. That's what's taking place right now.
All right. All right. And I want to let my sister, Senator Carla May, know that the president of McCarthy did reach out. I received a call from the president of McCarthy, the national office, as well as the president from the central office, to offer me a contract. And I politely explained to them that this was not a fight for a contract for me. This is a fight for a contract for our community. We want our fair share. We want 21%. We want what's due. You owe us more, but we're going to take what we fought for. Now, we fought for 21% out of the new ordinance 70767. That's a city ordinance, and that is a law. We want 21% MBE participation. And when McCarthy committed to an MBE program for the NGA project, they committed to 25% MBE participation, 21% of the contracts to go to African Americans, 14% of those jobs to go to our young entrepreneurs, and we demanded a training program. And we do not plan to leave until we get what's due. No more blank checks. No more insufficient funds. We come to take what is rightfully ours. We will fight to the end. We will fight to defend our community. Our young people need this opportunity. Our businesses need these contracts. And so with that, I want to bring our next speaker up. And I was quite surprised of this young man when I approached Father to explain to Father that the community had an economic problem. And he and I talked briefly. He decided we should meet. We met several times. And Father decided, well, we need to do something about it. We need to do a little bit more than just meet and talk about it. And so our first meeting was with the mayor. And we explained to the mayor that we have an economic problem that's tied to whatever happens in our community. So don't simply blame our young people. Don't simply blame our community. And don't blame black people for being in the situation that they're in. Because when we pull back the cover and look at the facts, I can assure you there have been many, many laws that have been broken, many opportunities that have been stolen, and our kids are a result of what they have done to us. Now, I grant it, we do some of this stuff to ourselves, and at some point we will discuss that. But today, we're talking about economic development and what we believe that is rightfully due to us, or for us in our own community. And when I asked Father Benden to help me fight this battle, Father Benden asked me to come meet with him, and we talked briefly, and I explained what I wanted to do on this project. We wanted to protest and fight it. And I said we'll align with Reverend Barber on the 20th on the Poor People's Campaign March in Washington, D.C. And Father Benden said that's a great opportunity. But Father Benden said we want to do it on a Friday. We want to do it so we can let the people know that we're here. And so, for some reason, it appears that McCarthy took off today. But that's the reason that we're having this videotape, because we will make sure that they see that we are speaking about this program. And as we continue to speak about this program, about this missed opportunity to our community up to this point, then we will let them know that we will always be here as long as this project is here. And we're not working and getting our fair share. We will be out, we will shout it out, and we will fight you. Having said that, bringing up one of the most surprise fighters I've seen in a long time. And I call him the prize fighter. The prize fighter because he's a surprise fighter. I recall when we met with East-West Gateway Council of Governments, and the young man attempted to say that it was the African Americans' fault for their community being in the condition that it's in. And he kindly listened, and when he had the opportunity to talk, he spoke loud, or quietly I should say, and clear. And he explained to them that he didn't believe it because he can see the difference of the two communities. When he crossed Lindell, he see one community, and when he crossed Delmore, he see a totally different community. And he lives in the community in North St. Louis. He is the one and only Father Stephen Benden. He is the priest, the new priest of St. Alfonso LaCour Rock Church. Let's give Father a hand. Father is the man of the hour. Thank you, Father.
I don't know if I'm the man of the hour or not, but I'm trying to do my part. I'm originally from St. Louis, but lived most of my life outside of St. Louis as a priest, but came back to St. Louis about 2.5 years ago. And one of the things that we had started about 1.5 years ago was a thing called Grills of Glory, which is trying to help some of the people in the neighborhood get a good meal. So we would, every morning from 11 till 1 o'clock, we would cook hot dogs, hamburgers, and people from the neighborhood would come and participate in that. And so I got to meet Murry that day the first time, and was very impressed with his drive, with his seeing where he, down the future, what he wanted to do, and I was inclined to agree with him. So we had met, Murry and I have met many times over the last years, and we have visited, like he had mentioned, in a number of different places. And so I'm here today, as much as anything, to be in support of what Murry is trying to do on behalf of the African American community. I do live here in this neighborhood. I don't know about all y'all, but I live here in this community. St. Alphonsus Rock Church down on Grand and Cook. So I see firsthand the blight of the plight sometimes of the people in the local community. When Murry had talked to me a year ago about this NGA project, I became very excited, because I thought, especially living here and noticing so many people out of work, so many people that long to be working, I thought this would be a great opportunity for the local community here, right, to get behind this and to improve ourselves here in this neighborhood. And so I was really excited, like I say, but then as things have developed, we became very disheartened with the way things turned out. We had 3 African American businesses, Murry being one of them, that put in a bid for rebar and concrete, for this project. And one man, a white man up near Chicago, that's the man that got the bid. It's just not right. So that's what we're fighting for. Part of what we're fighting for here today. We've got 3 local African American businesses that got shut out. And here we got a white man up near Chicago, Steelville, Illinois. He gets the project. So there's something wrong with that. So that's what we're fighting for. And again, we're fighting for the local community, to try to help people here in this local community to improve themselves. As I've been here for 2.5 years, the thing that strikes me, and I hope this doesn't sound too negative, but the thing that strikes me about some of the folks living here is that they've lost hope. People have lost hope that things are ever going to improve. And this is just one more way of showing that things aren't going to improve, right? If we let this happen, the fact that we've gotten shut out, some of the local people were saying we're never going to get to improve ourselves if we don't get a chance. So that's what we're trying to do. And so I am encouraged, I'm excited about what we have going here. Murry's got a lot of energy behind this. We need all of you to continue to help to support us, right? We can't do it alone. We need you to continue to help to support us as we strive to make the local North St. Louis area a better place, where people can find jobs, where people can set up shops, small businesses in this area. We're trying to do that, but we need to continue to try to do that. We can't lose hope. We got to focus ourselves, and we have to use our energy to do it. And we need your help to do that, right? We can't just come out for a speech like this or a day like this and expect that it's all going to eradicate itself. It's not. It is just like a hammer hammers at a wall, and you need 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 strikes of that hammer before the wall comes down. That's what we need to do. And so that's why we get together in something like this, to give people hope that things are moving in the right direction. So I want to thank Murry for this opportunity of coming here before you and saying my piece. And again, it's been very nice working with you over the last year and a half.
Thank you. Thank you, Father. Yeah, now you see why I got so excited about working with Father, because Father is one of those folks who call it like it is. And he learned early in working with me that I call it like it is. I call a white supremacist a white supremacist. I call racism racism. We call crime crime. And what McCarthy has done to this community is a crime. It's a crime. And we have to address this issue. And I appreciate Father walking with me, standing by me, going to those meetings and explaining to them that he see what we see. Oftentimes we go to these meetings and they'll say, well, those are angry black men. And when we took a white man with us to say, no, I see the same thing, it baffles them. And they look as if you're not supposed to see it that way. But Father called it like it is. And when Father saw what was going on in our community, he said, yeah, we have to find a way to train our young people. We have to find something for our young people to do. We have to bring down some of these buildings. And I'll tell a story about when I met Father. He asked, why are those buildings standing across the street from the church looking the way they look, all dilapidated and make our community look bad? And he pointed them out, and I asked, well, which buildings are you speaking of? And he said, those two across the street. And I said, well, I'm not sure, I can't see the buildings. And he began to repeat himself over and over and became frustrated and said, Murry, the buildings are across the street. I say, Father, those buildings been there for so long, we can't even see them anymore. That's what has happened to our community. Our community has stood in disarray, undeveloped, for many, many years, until they decided that they wanted to take over and to build the NGA. And when they built the NGA, they simply took the property, made a promise, as they always do, and left us out in the cold without a contract, without a local job, and without any training. And we must challenge that. And as Father say, it starts with us, with all the young men, all you young men here today. I need you to go and tell somebody that we are working on your behalf to try to make things better for you, so we can create these opportunities, so you can be the business owners as we transition out, that you step in, that you be those workers that become union, journeymen, iron workers, concrete workers, laborers, carpenters. As Martin Luther King said in his 1963 speech, they don't want us to have these construction jobs because they're good paying jobs. And we have good paying jobs, we can take care of our families. We can build our communities. We can defend our community. And we can cut this crime out. Having said that, I want to let you know that McCarthy, again, has asked to come to the table. They want to come to the table with some program. And what I want to do is to bring our businesses to the table and not have me at the table for them to work out some kind of phony deal with me. But they now have to work out a deal with our community. I've asked Percy Green, Mr. Percy Green, many of you know Percy Green. I've asked Mr. Percy Green to come to the table and to represent this minority business community. And he's agreed to do so. I've asked Miss Ollie Stewart. Many of you know Miss Ollie Stewart. Yes, I've asked Miss Ollie Stewart to come to the table and to help create a training program. And you may or may not know about the OIC program that was once in our community, and train our young people to take these jobs that now are available at the NGA. But when they cut out the OIC program and stopped training our young people, we were unable to prepare ourselves for these type jobs. And so we waited. We waited for them to create something for us. And now we know it's not going to happen. We have to create that ourselves. We can't wait. We can't wait. We cannot wait. We cannot wait. We will not wait. We will create our own. And that's what this is about. And having said that, I'm going to have Miss Ollie Stewart speak a little later. But right now, I want someone to come up and speak about the OIC program. And I want you all to give this guy a warm welcome. This is a dear friend of mine. And we'll talk a little bit more about AfricaTown in the program. This is a dear friend of mine from Seattle, Washington. When I was in Prince George's County, fighting for the black contractors in Baltimore and Washington, D.C., I received a call from a good friend in Seattle, Murry H, and asked that I come and help fight for AfricaTown, Seattle, Washington. AfricaTown this week received $1 billion from the city of Seattle to help develop the black community in Seattle, Washington. And so that's progress. That's progress we make when we work together. So no more division. No more division in Seattle. No more division in St. Louis. We're going to do what Seattle has done. We're going to ask that this mayor give us our $1 billion. And we need that money as seed money so we can go get more money so we can develop our own community. Because I know, as in Seattle, when NGA is built, they will come in with their high-priced homes and will price us out, and we will be left out again. If we had these jobs, we can buy those homes, or we can build our own homes. And so those are the type of programs we need in our community. No more hands out. No justice. No contracts. No jobs. No peace. No contracts. No peace. No jobs. No peace. I want to bring up Michael Brown. Michael Brown is the Seattle Michael Brown. We had our own Michael Brown. We got our own Michael Brown. But this brother Brown here, he was the head of OIC. They did not wait for the mayor to give them the money. They decided to take to the streets, and they took the money. They got $1 billion. And I told them, we need some of that money in St. Louis. They said, go get your own. We're going to show you how we did it. But go get your own. And now, my brother Michael Brown from Seattle, Washington.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. The word wait, I want to remind you guys, Dr. King said wait always meant, back then they called us Negroes. It meant never. So we're not going to wait anymore. But you guys have a unique situation here compared to where I come from. Our community has been completely dismantled. It's gone. It's not even gentrification. It's ethnic cleansing. I mean, they've taken a 90% black community and turned it to 10%. But there's a lot of development going there. So when I come here and look and see these buildings and this NGA thing and all this going on, and what you have here we don't have. You have numbers, and then numbers you have power if you're organized. And so what I looked at, I think it was black people are 47% of the population here. This is ridiculous that this project's here. This should be shut down every single day. But they did the same thing where we live. Okay? At the time they built something, it was I-90, and it was the most expensive roadway in the history of the country at the time. It was $3 billion. And we sitting across the street drinking 40s, playing dominoes, laughing and joking at the park, and the ground's rattling underneath us because they put a tunnel there. So we never went shut that down. We complained about it, but see, talking in the barbershop, talking in the park, and everywhere else is not going to do it. You got to go to the power. And Brother Frederick Douglass said, power never concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. So if you don't make a demand, you get nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. As Billy Preston said, you got to have something if you want to be with me. So what y'all need to do is you got the numbers here. You need to talk, young people in particular. When he was talking about OIC, a building was built in our community for OIC. And overnight, this is during the Reagan administration, I believe, you came one day and the doors were just locked. Well, they got rid of that because that was teaching people. We had carpentry and electrical and plumbing, and back then they still were doing keyboards. This is a long time ago. Also, they had nursing programs and underwater welding and all that. So once you know how to do something, then when you make a demand, you can step in. So we need a training program in every city. OICs came out of Philadelphia. Ours was SOIC, Opportunity Industrialization Centers. A brother named Leon Sullivan, he's dead now. In fact, he was instrumental in South Africa's dismantling when he went over there with the Sullivan Principle. So what I'm encouraging you to do, because I'm not used to looking at stuff like this. This is like a shock to my system. And as the father said, from coming here, and this is no knock on nobody here, because everybody gets tired, but I think you guys are used to looking at it. It looks, every one of these looks strange to me. Every time I ride past something with Murry, I'm like, what's happening with that? I ain't never seen trees grow out of houses, okay? I haven't seen this many open land, but I read a lot. So when I read, this is not unique to this city. Detroit's ground zero for it. I mean, the population is 1.5 million, now 700,000. Half the people are gone. So there's only so, the white man's a bad guy, but he can't make land. So if they develop the south side, they're coming to the north side. And since we're not organized, we're almost like rats. When you got rats in the bush, you tear down the bushes, the rats run to the next bushes. So what you guys need to do, and what we all need to do, is we got to come together on a common agenda. So our young people have went through a whole generation of not working. Some of them don't know how to work. When I was in Seattle, the manager of the Safeway store, which is about 6 blocks from the high school I went to go volunteer to speak at, he said, I got jobs. There was about maybe 15 young black men in the class. This is how many went there. The first number ain't 1 is 0. 0 went. They didn't even go down and apply. Now, in my generation, hell, there have been 50 of us down there trying to get to the little 5 or 6 jobs. So we have to also understand that some of our work for us, when we go to deal with them, is that we got to get our young people prepared, because if they offered you 5,000 jobs right now, do you got 5,000 qualified people to come in? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. But some of these jobs need skilled people. So we have to make sure that we're skilled and ready to go. So it's imperative on us to do this. And I think we keep waiting for goodwill. Goodwill's not going to happen, because I say this, racism will never cease to exist until you take profit out of it. The problem is they're making money. Slavery wasn't about racism. That's the justification for slavery. The reason for slavery was economic. They brought people here to work for free. Okay? And we've been able to do everything in America except for get paid for our work. And then we're the only people in the history of the country to protest to get a job. I mean, we got to go out and fight with them because we want to work, but the narrative is that nobody looks like you wants to work. Everybody like you is lazy and don't want to do nothing. Not true. But, you know, we get fatigued. So my thing now is, let's gather together. And then also, I'm going to lastly say this. The Obama effect you're going to see now, because my grandson's 21. So he spent almost half his life seeing a black president. Some kid that was 8 became 16. Some kid that was 16 became 24. So their mindset's a little bit different. We have a whole generation of educated people. That Young Lives Matter movement's being run by young people. So make sure that you reach out to all the youth out here. Because, see, they got to have a say at the table, because at the end of the day, that's what this is really for. It's for my children and my grandchildren. And now I got one great one. That one just popped out. So let's get ourselves together, stop all this little petty infighting about this, that, and the other. As Brother Malcolm said, you don't catch hell because you're a Catholic or a Baptist or anything else. You catch hell because you're black. So what we got in common all through America, not only America, the whole Western Hemisphere, remember, we've been displaced, we've been orphaned all over the world. We're the only homeless people here in America. Everybody else either was here or came here on their own fruition. We were brought here like cattle and pigs, and worse than that. So my thing is this. Since we're here, and since we built this, as Brother H. Rap Brown said, I mean, not literally, but he said it, if America won't come down, we're going to burn America down. So what we're going to do over here, we don't need to burn nothing. Instead of burning up the Wendy's and everything, all these things they've been doing, go to these jobs. Because you can't pay your bills if you don't have no money. And we're the only ones that ask in a capitalist system to go out and conduct ourselves in a manner like we have some money. Everybody wants money. Ain't nothing I got on was free. Unless somebody gave it to me, somebody paid for that. So what we need to do is concentrate on the jobs, concentrate on the training, and talk to the young people. So for all these old heads out here, when you see those 5 or 6 youngsters over there, go on over there and holler at them. Some folks go to the other side of the street. Whenever I see young people, I always go over to them. And if they're gathered together, if they're not involved in something crazy already, I always ask them, I say, y'all need a leader? I'm free. Because you got to go. I'm too old to play now. I'll just say this. The old guys, we're coaches. Doc Rivers can't come off the bench. I don't care how mad he get. He might know how to play the game, but he just can't move that fast. So some of us can't play no more. We're just coaches. So we're coaching. We're looking for these guys right here. These are the players right here. Those are the players. So what we're going to do is coach. Y'all going to play. Y'all got to run the court. We can't do it, even if we know how. At a certain age, it's over for us. Age is undefeated. So all I'm gonna say to you is, you guys right here, how old is anybody right here? Tell me. 19 years old. 20. Okay, 16. You the youngest one here? Okay. It's your peer group. What's your name? Pardon me? Come on. Come up here for a minute. Come on.
Hop up on the stage. Oh, hop up there.
You are cool. We need you to act cool. All right. Now, what was your name again? Marvin? Mark, okay. I want you to go on and say a couple words now. What you gonna say? We're talking. You understand what this project is over here? You go to school there? Okay, so you go to school down the street. Well, see, you're the leader that we're looking for. Because, see, it has to come from you. And so, if you don't have anything you want to say, it's okay. I just wanted to call you up here because we have to acknowledge our young people, because we always have rallies about our young people. And usually the last people there are young people. You know, so if you want to say anything to your brothers or everybody here, you know, because we want, if you don't, it's okay. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just wanted to call you up because we got to acknowledge the young people, because we can't keep talking about them and never let them come.
Speak, young man. I ain't gonna lie, we can sit out here and talk all day, you feel me? Like, but y'all talking ain't stopping nothing. Like, we dying every day. Like, they killing us, we killing each other too. Like, this ain't, I mean, like, we ain't reaching enough people. Like, we out here, but I'm the youngest out here. Ain't no other kids out here. My brother's grown. I mean, they kids to y'all, because they ain't been here as long as y'all. But, like, that's besides the point. Like, we can protest, we can, you know, we can mess our businesses up all day. Like, we not doing nothing, though. Like, they not fixing Grand. Like, where we go get our shoes and stuff from, they not fixing that stuff. Like, bro, like, we gotta do something different. Like, they ain't working. You feel me? We gotta do something else. No peace. You feel me? No peace. No peace.
We need to own some property. We need to own some
I ain't got nothing else to say.
All right, my brother. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up because I can talk all day and y'all don't want to hear me talk all day. So anyway, yeah, I just encourage you to make sure that you get that training program together. We need all you young heads out there to go back and spread the word. Okay, you guys need to be out here tomorrow. I don't know how many people you guys. Some of you guys are still in high school. So since school's out, you graduated. Well, to graduate, so you just got out. So I'm saying, your peer group, we need you guys to have 100,000 people out here tomorrow, because there's enough youth in the city to do that. Yeah, what we want is this project right here is a $2 billion project. $2 billion. Yeah, B. So the deal is that they tore down all this right here in the middle of your community. So I'm saying, spread the word to your people, the young people, about what's going on here. Because see, if you guys come out, then when we go to the mayor, okay. So when we go to the mayor, we need to have some young people that will back us up. Come here. Okay, then Murray, you take. Okay. Now, what was the young people say?
Us, the youth ain't the problem. We just need y'all support, because our voice really not gonna be heard. Like, they really run over us and trample us every day. Like, y'all seeing that for yourselves. Like, we really need a team, a village. Like my mentor and my father figure say every day, we need a village, bro. Like, for real, because we can't do it. Our words don't mean nothing to them. But with y'all behind us, it means everything. Everything. Like, because we only as strong as our left and our right leg. We need them both to stand. For real. We gotta stand together. That's the only way. If you don't stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. And I'm standing for this. We standing for the black community. That's it. That's what it is, and that's how we rock it, man.
That's how we gonna rock. That's our young people. I love our young people. Our young people are dynamic. Our young people are our future. Our young people are everything. But let me tell you, we all were once were young, and working together is the key. The key for us is to not work alone, but to work together. And having said that, I reached out to get our best, our very best. And she is the one who's been beating this street for many years, making sure that the black community was acknowledged, making sure that the black community was heard, creating those jobs for our young people, creating those businesses. The one and only, Miss Holly Stewart. Give Miss Holly Stewart a big hand. Miss Holly Stewart.
Y'all know what today, what we celebrating? Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure you know that we're not on slavery. We're supposed to be free, but we don't have no jobs. I'm here to talk about the community. When I look over there to see McCarthy, I'm saying to him, we need a training center. We need a training camp. We need young men. We need you all to try to get registered and learn a trade. I'm talking to you, the one who talking with the red soda. Okay? We need some black contractors to work over in this beautiful field that they done tore up. All right? And that's what we need. That's what we need to be picking about. Jobs for our youth. If you all don't find jobs, then our community cannot survive. You got to have jobs so you can make a living for your families. You can come to work and come back home. If you get a job over there, you'll be able to buy a car, buy a home, and educate your kids. Okay? So that's really Murry. I'm supporting him for what he's doing. I support all minority business, because without minority business, we cannot survive. We need training, and I asked McCarthy if they would try to put a training camp, a training center where for young men to be trained into construction work. Okay? So I need you all support. Y'all need to get yourself together so you can look forward to get working. Thank you so much.
All right, let's give Miss Holly a big hand, because Miss Holly had to leave a funeral service and come here. She wanted to speak to our young people. That's her goal. Miss Holly is one of our golden girls, but she's been out here for a long time. She's a beautiful person. She's an entrepreneur, and she's here to support our kids today. And I want to talk about the training program a little bit. Now, this training program, we will have one, and we will set the training program up at Innovative Concept Academy. Many of you have heard about Innovative Concept Academy, but I want you to know about Innovative Concept Academy. It's the old Blewett School, and it's not far from here. It's less than 2 blocks from the NGA site. Jimmy Edwards, Judge Edwards, owns the school. Judge Edwards is my brother, and I've asked that he open the doors so we can let our young people in, and so we can train and get ready for the NGA project. Now, this has been planned for some time, but when NGA came to the town, came to St. Louis, and they brought money, they gave money to WashU, they gave money to St. Louis U, but they didn't give money to Harristow and didn't give money to ICA, and that is part of the problem. Those are the issues that I deal with. So when I see these issues, I try to fight these issues. So I want you young people to know, although you may not see us fighting, we are fighting. And at this time, I want to ask Michael Brown, if you will cut your conversation and you come to the back, and so we can have this program to do what it's supposed to do. This program is intended to speak to our kids, and we want to focus on our kids, because I want you to know that we're working, and we're not just standing aside waiting. We're not standing by. We are here. We're working. We're trying to put things in place for you. And so those training programs we will have for construction. We will also have training programs for coding. I've spoken to my good friend, Dr. Dawswell in Baltimore, and he's agreed to come to St. Louis and to set up his coding camp at ICA so we can take those jobs from NGA when the construction is completed. You may know that this construction is a $2 billion project, but I want you to know that the operation for NGA is $3 billion a year. Those are jobs that we need. Those are the $150,000 and the $200,000 jobs that we can get to our kids who may not have the college degree, who all they need to do is to study the coding boot camps, through the boot camps that Dr. Dawswell will bring to you. We will bring those camps for our kids, and those are the jobs of the future. But for today, those jobs that's on the table, those construction jobs, those are jobs we have to take today. And starting with the dirt work. The dirt work is complete, as you can see. That's Division 2. Division 3 is the rebar. And I'll talk a little bit about the rebar. As Father Benden stated, we did have 3 local black companies to bid on the rebar packet. We had a white company who McCarthy asked me to joint venture with. I joint ventured with that company. That company submitted a bid other than the joint venture bid after he learned of the joint venture's bid, and he won the contract as a minority business. I then argued, well, he's a white fella, so he couldn't be a minority. So they created a fake minority company. And last week when we spoke to the president of McCarthy, they said, well, we just decided not to use the fake minority company so it can legitimize the bid. We'll just go with the illegitimate white minority company. And we told them that would work, and that only would increase the fight that we had for this project. Our fight now on this project is not only for minority business participation, but we also want those jobs for our young people that's ready to go right now. And for those who are not ready, we want to train. We want to have those training components in place for you. And so we have, at this time, I would like to bring up, we have a guest speaker, and we want to bring up our own NAACP St. Louis County. Come on, Brother John. Brother John, we all know Brother John. Brother John going to speak the truth from the NAACP perspective. We need jobs. No justice. No jobs. No contracts. Come on, John, give it to him.
I think we social distance enough where I can take off my mask. Hey, I know there's one thing we all know. America was born with a birth defect. Slavery. And on this day, as we talk about freedom, we want freedom to have a participation in the economics of this economy. This project is going to create generational wealth. And we, the people who help build this country, it's time for us to be a part of that economy by giving us jobs, contracts, and making sure our community is uplifted financially. We need financial uplift. We ain't asking for a handout. We just telling you to give, we are demanding you give us what we deserve. I got to thank a lot of brothers out here for me being who I am. Brother Anthony Shaheed, love you, brother. Leek, hey, I see Zaki Baruti, all of the long-time fighters in our community. Oh, I can't forget my brother here. Look, this brother has helped so many young brothers get their lives on track. I'm telling you, he is a Reverend Jackson and also my good friend. Look, I don't have to, Chester Dean know who he is, but I just want to say this. If there was ever a time for us to stay together and demand what we have coming, this is it. You cannot have this project in our community and not think that we're not going to be a part of that, the reaping of these large sums of contracts and jobs. It's a simple formula. This is not going to happen without us being a part of it. And on behalf of St. Louis County NAACP, I stand with you. I'll be here for this fight also. Let's get in this economy, let's get this money. It's ours to get, okay? Thank you, brothers. Bak, Zarudi, you my man. Brother Brother Anthony Shaheed. Hey, I love you guys. Let's stay in this fight.
All right, you can't do it without the NAACP. That's been our mainstay. That's been the foundation of our argument. Has been the NAACP, the Urban League. We've got many organizations in our community, but we need more. We need as many organizations as we can get to come to the table. We need all of us to come to the table at this time. This is a time of change. This is a time of reconciliation. And this is a time for black folks to understand that economic has to be the foundation of our growth. We can no longer accept the handouts. We can no longer accept welfare. We want a fair opportunity. We want an opportunity to grow. Now, on this project, there is a $2 billion opportunity with 25%, $500 million set aside for minority businesses. If we don't take advantage of it, guess who will? I've already explained their plan to get around us. Now it's up to us to set up a defense. We need a defense game to come after these contracts. When they decide that they won't work with us, then we must demand that we work with them. And the way we work with them is from the top down. We've made the argument at the top, the highest level. I've spoken to the president of the company. We're meeting with him on Monday. He's bringing in $3.5 million contract. And I told him that that's a good start. But that's only the start. That's only the beginning. We want contracts on every division of construction. We want opportunity for every business who's ready to go. And for those businesses, those black businesses who we help get contracts, we expect you to help others get subcontracts. We expect you to hire from our community. And so we cannot stand by and let black companies hire all white folks. We cannot stand by and let white companies hire no black folks. And we cannot stand by and let our businesses die with no contracts. So we have to work together. We are compelled to come together. This is the time. This is the time. And now I see the one and only, my man. My man's coming up. We are going to work together. We got our state politicians, we got our local politicians, we got our business owners, and we're going to have our youth organizations to come together. And so we can put something together that makes sense. Our plan will be surrounded around AfricaTown. AfricaTown, as you may or may not know, was founded in 1860. Now those Africans who wanted to go back to Africa, and now they're here because they were denied that opportunity. And so we have set up AfricaTown in Seattle, Washington, and they're doing great. And I've asked that in exchange for my help for setting up or working with AfricaTown in Seattle, that they come and help the brothers and the sisters and our businesses in St. Louis. And they've agreed to do so. And Mike is the proxy. Michael Brown is a developer. He's a realtor. He builds and sells homes in Seattle. And I told him that's a great opportunity to teach our young people how to build and sell homes right here in St. Louis on all these vacant lots and dilapidated buildings. We're going to do something with it. We're not going to allow them to come into the community and do. We're going to do what we need to do in our own community. All we need is their financial support from the federal government. Give us some of these contracts and we can create development in our own community. At this time, I'm going to ask our local politician, our man who's come to the stage is Brandon Bosley. Brandon Bosley is the alderman of the 3rd Ward. Brandon Bosley is the new entrepreneur of the year in my world. And Brandon Bosley is a friend to all of us, our community. Thank you for coming, Brandon Bosley, Alderman Bosley. He's going to speak to you about this NGA project that's in his community. We have spoken about it, and he said let's do something about it. Here he is to talk about what we're going to do about it.
How y'all doing? Appreciate it. So, first of all, I just want everybody to kind of look around you. And I'm sure you have since you've been here. You can see the blight throughout our community, and it has nothing to do with the NGA. We know for sure that we need great investment within our communities. But there's no way you can put $1.3 billion into a desolate community right behind it. And the people that live in that desolate community don't have the jobs that $1.3 billion are going to be building and creating. So one thing that we can ensure that I think we need to ensure that we capitalize on, and I want to be clear because I keep everything 1,000, right? So I talked to the NGA. We sat down with them. We had an actual discussion on how things were going to go. I asked them flat out, is there any way that you can make any millionaires, black millionaires, off this project? You got $1.3 billion. How many black millionaires can we make? They said, well, we only giving out a few of the large contracts, and then they will subcontract out the jobs, and actually, we don't have to have any minority with the federal government. This is how it went, like the stuttering and everything. We actually are the federal government. We don't have to adhere to any particular rules, but we'll do the best, the best that we can. And then they threw it down to the individuals who will be subcontracted, and hopefully we'll get the jobs there. These are billions of dollars that we're talking about, and they can change our entire communities and change the entire outlook of individuals' lives who feel like they have a place in this community and will eventually be bought out. I think we need to focus on everything across the street from the NGA, right? This is a federal investment, and when you got people that tell you that there are billions of dollars that they may not be willing to give you, you do everything you can to ante up like we doing now, but you buy every damn thing across the street from that investment, right? Because the billions gonna come out of that building after it's finished being built. I want you to understand the psychology in this, right? They putting $1.3 billion in infrastructure. That's not counting the hundreds of millions of dollars that'll be spent on every individual for their jobs every single year. We're talking $98,000 as the minimum compensation, right? We don't have one person, right? We're not making $98,000 across the street nowhere over here. And of course we got a few, but as a mass majority, we have to figure out how to draw those people out of those buildings and into our communities, right? How do we get these blocks and get the mayor and the individuals who control the land to give us back our blocks? Okay, you bought everything from across the street. You got the NGA coming. Yeah, we gonna have jobs, right? But what we gonna spend our money on right now if we get those jobs? What if we get that contract we looking for? We take $1 million and we do what with it? It goes back out where? To Chesterfield, wherever we feel like building that. We got to start figuring out how to get the land that is right around us and ensuring that whatever they plan on developing, right? We got our own development plan at the same time. We ain't got a gang of money, but they do. How do we get that government money into our neighborhoods for the mom and pops that's been here for 35 years? That's cold at baking stuff, that's good at baking cookies, but we ain't got no cookie stores around it. We don't have no storefronts, right? But we got thousands and billions of dollars worth of infrastructure that's coming to our neighborhoods. That's the biggest thing I want to implant in your mind. As we fight for everything we are fighting for today, and we ensure that our voices are heard on getting these contracts, when we get this money, what are we going to do with it? And how are we going to secure the land that is right across the street from one of the biggest federal investments in the history of St. Louis? We're still sitting around all this land. Paul McKee still own a gang of it. Some of it getting ready to come up on taxes right now. How many of us gonna ante up together to ensure we buy that lot down the street? How many of us standing here right now gonna make sure we take $1,000 out of our pocket and the same opportunity that we asking to buy into, we build our own right across the street? Yeah, it costs what, 10, 20,000, sometimes 30 to get some of these contracts you gotta put up front. You gotta up front, and we get our money 6 months on the back end. How do we up front put something together with each other to ensure that whatever they finna do on the back end, we are part of it, and we ain't gotta beg for nothing? We ain't gotta beg for contracts. We ain't gotta beg the federal government to do a damn thing for us, but to do what's right by us. Invest in what we invested into on our own. Help us build up what's right around the corner from you, where you're building up what you got building, right? Those are the important aspects of how we change our communities, and that's just being real. It's not only about this particular building, right? It's about making sure that whatever jobs come out of this and however much money is coming out of this investment, it goes back to those people who live right around the corner, and they have the opportunity to draw from this federal investment after every single brick is built, after every sidewalk is put in, after every contract is done and dealt with, right? How do we make sure every young man that never seen this building being built in 10 years from now, when they drive past it, has an opportunity to become an employee there, or contract with them through cybersecurity? This is only 2 of them in the United States. We got to think so big. If you're going to put $1.3 billion in infrastructure, imagine how much you're going to spend on securing that infrastructure. Imagine how much money you're going to spend over these 100 years ensuring that that investment is worth this while. We're not talking software, right? We're not talking all the coders that they're going to need, all the individual pieces to this entire puzzle. We got to prepare for that, y'all. We got to make sure that we got facilities that are connected to this entity right here that can yield us $100,000, $200,000 contracts for the next 50 years, because it's dealing with directly what that building is going to need to sustain itself. Yeah, we want the federal contracts, but we want long-term connectivity to a long-term connected project that's going to always have funding. They're never not going to have the bills paid. This is the federal government. They dollars going to come on time, every time. While we all hurting and trying to figure things out in the coronavirus, federal people are still getting paid. The government has to move forward. How do we ensure that when things like this are going on, no matter what's happening in our neighborhoods, we at least got a stronghold around these large investments that's going to be here for 100 years? They're not going nowhere, y'all. They are here. The paperwork is set. What do we need to do to ensure we are part of any other paperwork that comes through this point forward, right? Yeah. We have to start looking at every single thing around this project and start looking at how it is that we're going to keep our people safe while everybody is looking at how to invest around the NGA. How are we going to invest around the NGA? How are we going to ensure that we don't have people flying in from California, New York, and everywhere else trying to buy these blocks of land up? If you ain't seen the LRA list, we got blocks of land available, gang of it. But a lot of us are not coming forth with our plans, with our people, ensuring that we can build something of statute, once again, to be able to connect to a project such as this that's going to yield us so much more money than we would have got only trying to get 1 contract or 2 contracts or 3 contracts. We got to be in here for the long haul, y'all. They here for 100 years plus. Most of us not going to be here when this contract ends. What our grandkids going to get out of it after it's finished being built, right? Where's the generational wealth? When all of this corridor looks totally different and you got sky rises here, where is our dollar going to be revolving at in this community? How are you going to be able to go inside of one of these facilities, spend $1, and make sure that it's coming back by way of one of your brothers having a job in there, then going right down the street and going in the house? Not paying rent, but owning his house. Because our houses are just that cheap right now, but at some point in time, they're going to go through the roof. We got to focus on the land, y'all. Paul McKee not letting none of this land go. It's going to get taken from him. He's not going to let it go easily, but he's going to ensure that no matter what he builds and people buy into, he's keeping the land. He want to build houses but keep the land that the house sits on. Y'all gotta understand me, like for real. This is the land grab of the century right now, and I'm talking about it because I need you to understand the importance of the land. The NGA, that's the anchor. That is the anchor of development right now within all of these areas, right? The land is everything that anchor is going to hold on to and is going to affect. We got to figure out how to make sure we got a strong hold onto whatever that anchor is going to be holding on to. You can't move up unless we move up. Oh, you got another contract going on over there? It's 5 years later? Well, you know we right down the street. We ready. How much money is it? You know, we got a few of the first ones. Yeah, we got it together. But over here, we start building when y'all start building. We start rising when y'all start rising. That money is going to be here once again, y'all. We got to figure out how to tap into long money. Because these short-term contracts and everything else, I got to keep it true. I do not lie to my people. Half of this already been decided. And that because I've been in the inside rooms talking to them and I just know how they work. Right? We all know how they work, but we got to stand up like we standing up now to let folks know we're not going to go down quietly. Right? No peace. That's 100. So it all comes down to realistically, what exactly are we gonna do when we get the opportunity, as we have right now, to ensure that we are connected to the long-term investment that they are putting in this community. It's 1.8 million up front, billion up front. What about all the money that's getting ready to be put in every single year after? Y'all, we got a plan. We really need to get together and ensure that we have a plan on how we're going to attack this, and not attack them, but attack the economic infrastructure that is getting ready to be placed and balanced right here. We like a half a mile up the street from a $373 million stadium they building. Half a mile. And that may not be accurate, but I know for sure it's less than 5 minutes. You can get there, you can walk there, and you won't sweat too much if it's not over like 70 degrees and whatever. You'll be all right. You won't feel bad. I guarantee you, if the Metro Link put you off right here and you was on your way to that stadium, you know nothing about the area, you would jolly and happily walk right on up to it and get you some popcorn and everything else. We smack down in the middle of what we consider the hood. They don't know this is the hood right now. And it does not have to look the way that it looks right now when we consider it the hood when they get here. How are we going to get that money when it comes? Because it's not just about the NGA. It's about this whole corridor coming up and us not owning not a damn piece of land in it. Ask our people and look on the land. Look at the assessor's office and see how many black people own land around the NGA. That's what we need to focus on. Ask questions. See how much land we own from here up to Jefferson. I mean, what's his Jefferson? But up to like Martin Luther King, right? Where the vacant lot stop. Find out how many of us own land, and you're gonna find out almost zero. I mean, I would go as far as to say zero. I know ain't nobody owning nothing up to here about Jefferson that's black. Maybe the churches, a few of them. We gotta figure out how to get this land, y'all. That's the big thing. Because then we can tie into whatever it is that they got going on, because everybody got to play ball at that point. You can't create a redevelopment plan without adding me in because I own the land. I own something of value, and you got to negotiate with me. It ain't no give me something because I'm owed it. It's like, hey, bro, you can't move unless I move. I'll make this corner look like crap. Period. I'll pay the fines. We ought to get together and pay the fines. You want the concrete fixed? We'll fix it when we feel like it. We'll pay the fines. We have to be secure in the land, yeah. We got to be secure in knowing that for 100 years, our job security not going nowhere. No matter what money we get today, it's still going to be long tomorrow and the year after and the year after that. That's where our longevity comes at, because that's where our people are losing, right? 100 years from now, or 100 years ago, our folks fought to have all these houses. Gang of black people lived in these houses. And that's before the NGA came and moved everybody, before all of that. No way they would have moved all of those people if half the neighborhood wasn't desolate in the first place. We let our houses go, y'all. Our grandchildren grew up, got out the neighborhood, and our grandfathers and grandmothers passed away or moved out, and we didn't teach them what was necessary, and they didn't come back to take the land. That's why this is a land grab. We gotta get the land. And 100 years from now, this is not gonna look like this. Hell, in 10 years from now, it won't look like this. The question is, when everything is built and everything is over and said and done with, and this corridor is built up, you got traffic going up and down the street on a regular basis, people coming in and out buying things, gas stations. What we gonna own? How much are we gonna be getting then, right? What are our pockets gonna look like as an actual entity that we can say we got some type of black revolving dollar in $1 billion corridor? Let's be serious. That's where the money is, kings, queens. That's how we ensure that we change our neighborhood, and we're not waiting for developers to come in and be like, you know, what you want, $200,000 houses or 100,000? You want them to be 2,000 square? That's the questions they ask. How you want your neighborhood to look? Now, what kind of question is that? We got to go and beg individuals to come into the neighborhood and then tell them what our vision is so they can go and find money to raise with their friends and make money off us while they build our vision. Think about that. It's serious. Our land is desolate. We can build whatever we can fathom right now as long as we can come up with the dollars, and we got the value. But we don't see it in each other. Everybody's fighting for their own individual piece of the pie, and that's not how you get the whole thing. It's not. That's how you get crumbs, because all they're going to do is take that slice out and let you have a piece of what you've been looking for. You want that cherry? We'll give you a bit of it. Don't tell your friends how you got it. That's not how we rise, y'all. I'm tired of getting crumbs. We should be sick of getting crumbs. That's not how we eat. That's why everybody fighting over everything. We got the largest amount of non-profits in the entire United States. There's no way that we shouldn't be having money pouring into the city. The reason it don't feel like that, because everybody off on their own individual thing, but doing the same thing with the same damn mission. Liberate black people, but everybody on one accord, on their own accord, trying to get to the same place. We can't do it like that. It's impossible to get it like that. We gotta be like the base of a tree. We gotta grow strong first and then branch out. You can't just walk up to a tree and punch it and it's gonna fall down. You gotta knock the whole base out of it first and then it'll fall. We gotta be thick like that. We have to grow up first and then branch out. We don't come together as a collective to build a foundation, and that's what they do. That's what they've done. The reason why right now nothing else is built but this is because they laid the foundation. They didn't take 1 or 2 houses or 5 or 6. They made sure everything was gone before they started the project. They did everything necessary to ensure the foundation was laid. And you couldn't do nothing about it. I couldn't do nothing about it. Paul McKee couldn't do nothing about it. All of that's done. We can advocate all we want, but it is avocation and ensuring that our voices are heard. The action is going to be what happens tomorrow, what happens the day after, and what are we going to plan for? Let me let this truck go by. What are we going to plan for after they finish planning for whatever it is that they plan for, particularly at this particular spot? Because the plans go deeper than what you see. It's not 10 years of planning right now, right? That you see physically. You know on the surface level what's structurally being built and how it's going to look. They ain't showed you the inside because you're not supposed to see that. We don't know how long it's going to take to get everything in there the way that they get it. We don't know if they're going to be digging 50 feet underground when we finish. We don't know. It's the federal government. It's not our job to know. Right? Our job is to figure out how do we tie in and ensure that we can build our neighborhoods with a large investment like that. And we can. That's too much money for us not to be figuring out how to draw them out. Not saying anything bad about anybody, but you take your chip money, your soda money, your little nick and dime, your miscellaneous money that we all spend when we are at work to go get gas and whatever other things that we want to get, and you spend that with us. And we take that federal money and do something with it within our communities that we find of work because we don't have it to do it. That's just being real. Some point in time, the bank's going to be here. They're going to be loaning out money left and right. Question is, the people who get it, will they be able to afford to pay for everything, you know, when they get to that place in life where things start to go up? And things will go up if we don't do something about it. That's real. They'll give us them loans, and most of the older people on fixed income won't be able to afford them at some point in time because you got to pay that and the taxes, or this and that. Like right now, they want to add this entire zone, and I want to put this out there, into what you call it's the Riverfront Taxing District. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the actual name for it. And it'll come to me. Basically, they want to add all of this land into the riverfront, which gives everybody. It's a port authority. Damn, if you don't know who the port authority is, man, they have a lot of authority. They're set up by the state. So they have the authority to tax abate anytime they want. They got the authority to raise taxes. They got the authority to use eminent domain whenever they want. And that's set up by the state, right? So they just got a few wards to expand their wards into the port authority. And this is one of the ones they want. And it's very easily done if you allow it to happen. And that immediately gives people the authority to come in, raise our taxes, put tax abatement on whatever projects they would like to put them on, and completely utilize eminent domain to repurpose the land for whatever they see fit. Those things are the things that we are fighting systematically that you won't see unless, you know, we come out and be like, we need everybody to come out. But those are the things y'all gotta watch for. This is a big land grab, y'all. We focus on the contracts, but focus on the land. And when we come out and start talking about the land and we got enough people that's ready to go after it, y'all need to come out just like we coming out today and make sure we highlight that to the entire city and the entire world, that our black folks within this neighborhood are ready to take it back, buy something and do something with it ourselves and not wait for a developer. No, we ain't got $100 million, but let us have the chance to figure it out. While you build, our land will go up in valuation and maybe we'll get some equity in something that we never had because the banks never would give us equity in it in the first damn place. We got to figure out how to get this land, y'all. So, you know, once again, we're not going to go quietly into the night. We're not going to allow anybody to pull the wool over our heads. We're going to fight to make sure we got these contracts. We got to fight to make sure that they give us this damn land, too, around these contracts. Appreciate y'all for being here, man.
Let's give Alderman Bowles a hand. Alderman Bowles is one of our young, upcoming, bright politicians that could One day we may be saying Murry Bosley again. So this is the man that we want to rely on in this area. This is the NGA sited in part of his ward, and in the 3rd ward and in the 5th ward. We'll be calling on Alderwoman Hubbard to come forward at some point to stand with us. Now, there should be people in the streets today, but we know this is Juneteenth, and there are many speeches, there are many functions going on today. But tomorrow, we will still be fighting McCarthy. The day after, the week after, the month after, and on until we get a fair share. Now, I want to say to Alderman Bosley that we've been doing some work, and we have been putting things in place. Infrastructure from setting up the organization, AfricaTown. We've identified major players around the country with money and those with the talents that we need. We are working with Ralph Basilio. He is the top accountant in America and the black accountant in America. We're working with some of our local attorneys, but more importantly, we have to build our businesses. We have to have our businesses ready to go. So when these contracts come on board, like the NGA, we want our businesses to be ready to go. But we cannot have businesses to set up and get no opportunity. So we also have to create that opportunity. And that's why I really admire Alderman Bosley and his approach. We must have the land. If we have the land, we have equity. When we have equity, we can cut some deals. And for as that bank, we're going to set up our own bank. We're not going to allow them to tell us who can and who can't get a loan. We're going to set our own bank up. Did you know there is a requirement for federal projects such as the NGA to put 25% of that money into a black bank? Where is our black bank? We don't have one. That's our problem. We don't have a black bank. If we had a black bank, we'll have $500 million sitting in that bank account, because I will demand that they follow 49 CFR 26.53. I am the former chairman of the board of the National Minority and Women Business Input Committee, and I have studied this program for over 30 years. And I know there is some opportunity for us only if we can take it. They are not going to give it to us. We must take it. And so we must build up our numbers. We may be shy today, but I want everyone to go and let the people who you know that we're not going away. We're coming back, and we're coming back again until we get our fair share. Now I want to ask our long-term warrior and community activist, Brother Rudy, come up and say some words. This young man, you don't have to wait long to see him in the fight. Whenever there is a fight and you're watching the news, channel 2, 4, 5, whatever channel you want to watch, you're going to see Brother Baraka Booty out there. This brother has been on the fight for a long time, and I want to thank him for all the good work he's done, and he's been there. You can always count on him. And so for our young people, we're getting tired, so we need you guys to get ready to step up. But we must train and get you ready. Without further ado, Brother Rudy, come take the mic. Thank you for coming. I appreciate all you've done.
First and foremost, in the name of our Lord, the one God, to whom all praises are due, Assalamu alaikum. Also, let me just say simply, power to the people. Let me first give compliments to the organizer for today. That's so much needed. Also, I want to salute Brother Anthony Shaheed for reaching out to me, Chester Dean, Brother Reverend Jackson, and all of you that's here. As I observe, most of us are black men here, which is a good thing, because we are at a real critical hour in America. Let's be for real. And black men got to really stand up on the real side. As well as, I just want to thank you, Brother Bosley, for laying out what needs to happen. And I want to say, on behalf of the organization that I represent, the Universal African People's Organization, we want to sit with you to deal with the long-range planning that must be done. And that's the critical thing, that as a people, as we go into the 21st century, it saddens me that here we are again having to react. Because these folks that we deal with, as the Native Americans used to say, they speak with forked tongue. They speak with forked tongue. And I want to also go on record, I had real deep skepticism of the project going into the project. But since it's here, and as taxpayers, then damn it, we should get our fair share of our tax dollars. So, also, on my mind too, in terms of the need for black men, I just want to give a shout out. There's going to be several black men rallies. Sunday, Brother DeSankofa will be in front of the St. Louis Police Department at 3 p.m. Also, our organization will be having a black man march on July the 4th to point out the hypocrisy of July the 4th. So we encourage you to be there. But let me go back to the point for today. The point for today is economic justice. When you look at this sign here, it speaks to the reality facing black folks. Stop economic genocide, as well as stop killing us. Get your damn knee off our neck. So the bottom line is, how effective will we organize? Since I've been the age of about 19, and now I'm real gray-haired, we've been out here speaking on a whole range of issues. And damn it, I'm tired. But I'm tired, but I'm energized. Because my prayer is in my lifetime that the black man and the black woman, not just here in the United States, but all across this globe, fulfill our destiny. And our destiny is to control our reality, which all of us, we know that doesn't happen. So when we talk about the NGA, as Brother Bosley pointed out, we got to talk about seizing the land. But in that process also, I'll be remiss that we have to challenge those folks at the federal level who are elected representatives. So we need to have Congressman Clay on board, as he also should bring the Black Caucus of the United States Congress to be with us, so that we shouldn't even have to have this. They should be blocking it right now in terms of the project until we get our fair share of jobs. So Brother Murry, I just want to encourage you to reach out to Congressman Clay and tell Congressman Clay to bring the black congressman and any other progressive congressman, be it white or Hispanic or what have you, to stand with us. And we will be victorious. But the other thing that Bosley brought out in a general sense is that we need to spend our dollars with ourselves. As an organization on a broader scale, after the murder and assassination of Anthony Lamar Smith, by that racist name, Jason Stockley, we had a slogan: you kill us, we kill your economy. One of the greatest things that we can do now as a people is begin to educate our people that we got to spend our monies with our own selves. And then on the issue of banking, Brother Bosley, we got to begin to target those banks to say, how much money are you investing in our community? Because too many of us have our investments with these banks, and they use our dollars to invest outside of our community. So we have to have a wide awakening to the overall struggle that we have here in this country. I want to close with this. We just spoke about the need for economic justice, but we also need to have social justice. And in that context, with the murder of George Floyd, as Brother Murry mentioned, and the many countless killings, We as a people have to have some basic principles around policing. And I want to just submit a couple of thoughts to you around policing. We say that there should be community control of the police department. And what does that mean? We say, number one, every police department, starting here in St. Louis City and across America, the police officers are to reflect the racial and the ethnic composition of the city that they work in. Because it's a damn shame that in the city of St. Louis you have the disproportionate number of white officers. We got to say time out for that. Then every police officer ought to live in the community in which they work. Thirdly, we ought to have in every community effective civilian review board. Last, but with subpoena power. Last but not least, on the political side, we push a concept that's called proportionate political representation, which simply means that whatever percentage we are as a people, then we should have that percentage of political power on the national level of government, the state level of government, and the local levels of government. When Michael Brown was assassinated in Ferguson at the time of his murder, Ferguson was 70% black. Yet, on the city council of 6 members, only 1 was black at the time of his murder. Out of that outcome, you had a police force, as me and Anthony and many of us marched. You had a police force at that time of 53 members, and only 3 was black. Madness. Madness. So we can't no longer have people coming from outside of our community taking jobs from us on the police level, brutalizing them, and in essence we paying their salaries to do that. The same thing for the NGA. Damn shame. They'll be coming from all across the boot hills to be working, and our brothers and sisters gotta be slinging little drugs that I call being set up like little mice back in the day when we had the mouse traps, that they be incarcerated, and we have this huge mass incarceration. So to make that change, even though we may not be in the numbers that we're in, we have to be dedicated to the cause for the liberation of our people. So I just want to salute everybody that's here and understand that if we don't make change, each of us got to stand up, stand firmly, and educate others to stand with us. On that note, I just want to say power to the people. May God bless us, and He will bless us, even though all of us believe in the Creator. In our different forms of saluting the Creator, but there's a Bible quote that says, faith without work is dead. So we got a lot of work to do. Power to the people.
All right, power to the people. No justice, no peace. No contracts, no peace. No jobs, no peace. Hey, we're here today because of the NGA. The NGA, lack of concern for the African American community. No contracts to local black contracts. No joint venture members from our community. No local black workers. To me, that means no NGA. And we have made them aware that if we don't work, then you can't work. Those jobs should be going to residents within the city. We have a plan, a signed plan by McCarthy that will give us 25% of those contracts and 14% of the jobs for minorities. 6% of the jobs should go to women. That is not happening. So for McCarthy, we will continue our fight until you get it right, or we will shut it down. Now, this is round 1. Round 2 will be after the meeting with McCarthy next week. We will redirect our protest. Our protest will focus on getting a training center ready immediately.
argument will also focus on those contracts to come. We want to take over a percentage of the contracts to ensure that those contracts are going to African American businesses within our community. At this point, I'm going to bring some of the folks who've been in this community fighting for what's right for a long time. We have a lot of the people that you have heard from today were from our senior community who's been out here working hard. We have one young man here I want to bring and let him say something because he's always been a helping hand. He's always there when I call. He's always there when I need him. I want to ask Nathan Fordon to come up and have a few words, and then I'm going to turn the mic over to Hilliard Phillip to close us out at this point.
Real quick, everybody, I like to stay on the point, so I usually make a few notes because I got so many thoughts in my head that I have to write them down. The first thing we need to understand is the psychology of racism. Racism is an illogical, psychological construct. It's a psychological construct in order to distract you from what the real issue is. The real issue is not about race. The real issue is about the resources that God put on this earth for every human being that lives on this earth. There should be no one who should gather all the resources up on God's earth and you can't get a job, he can't get a job. So that's the first thing we got to do is understand. Quit giving racism validity by sanctioning it. It is not about racism, it's about money. It's about money. That's the first thing. The second thing goes along with that is the haves and the have-not psychology. See, they keep on getting you to accept a line of reasoning that's illogical. If you got, why would you have the haves and the have-nots and the rich people keep getting richer and the poor people keep getting poor? So what's the logic of talking about haves and have-nots? The last thing I want to say to the few of us that's left here now is respect. Respect for our elders. Respect for authority. Respect for law and order. You must have respect for everything and everybody. So those are the only three things I wanted to say is the illogical construct of racism, the have and the have-nots, and respect. Respect yourself and respect everything and everybody around you, and I guarantee you all, God will bless me. I'm almost 80 years old. I don't feel it. I ain't never felt racism. That's why I look like I look at 80 years old, because I didn't accept it. I didn't accept that rationale that you gave me that, well, I didn't grow up around no black people. I don't accept that. God made all of us. So there is ain't nothing but a little car wreck over there. They'll figure it out. But all I'm saying, folks, is stop allowing other people to program your thinking with definitions that are illogical.
Yes, my name is Hilliard Phillips, and I'm here because Murry, my friend, who I consider right now family, because we've been together so long, fighting this struggle for justice, jobs. It's funny that we're here because of Floyd and others who didn't have a job. Remember, Floyd was killed because he didn't have $20. And it's been like that for black people since the time I can remember. I can see nothing but our neighborhood in desolation. Even though our blood, our tears, our pain and our struggle is embedded into this soil of America. And America owes us no more than what's due us. We did this under stress. We did this not for them. We did what we did because we were forced to do it. Now if we have to force you to open up the door that should have been opened years ago, if we have to force you to get down and give us our share, we will force that. We will force it in the boardroom, we will force it on the street, We will force it in your mind. You won't go to bed without us. The pandemic came along at the right time. I heard Dr. Martin Luther King say one time, coincidence is God's intervention. So if I can say, there's coincidentally everybody sat still so that we can have our voices heard, so we can have ourselves be seen, so that people can listen to us. Murry and I made a pact on one particular scripture. And that particular scripture we made a pact on was 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. For ye can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. The truth is what it is. We are the results and we are the evidence of racism. Look at our neighborhood. Look at us. We need to work forward on this. It's not about sticking together. It's about having a mindset to go get this. And if we going to get this, we going to be together. So at that, I'm going to end by saying, God bless everyone, and AfricaTown, St. Louis.
AfricaTown, St. Louis. AfricaTown, St. Louis. And we're not going to be much longer. We're going to play a little music, lay back. We got some tea, some papaya juice, some water. You can relax. And we will be preparing for our meeting with the president of McCarthy next week. We will be demanding that they bring contracts to the table. Not one to shut me up, but we need many to help our community. And I will ask certain people to come to the table to make sure that what they say, that we're able to make them keep to their word. We'll be looking to get a memorandum of understanding with McCarthy to get 21% of these contracts to go to the African American community. We're going to ask that we get that reward contract put back on the table to rebid it. We are also going to ask that they begin to hire African American men and women from our community, particularly in the 3rd and 5th Ward where this project sits. And I will ask Mr. Bosley, Alderman Bosley, to come to the table with us and for McCarthy to make that commitment to train and hire from the 3rd Ward in particular, but also the 5th Ward and throughout North St. Louis. But we also want to make sure that this project is a benefit to this community and not a hindrance. All those contracts that are being let outside of our community, we want to revisit those contracts and make sure we get 25% of each of those contracts. That's how this program was intended to work. We have been able to get McCarthy back to the table. They said no several times. Father Benden came to the table demanding that they at least hear us out. And once they heard us out, they looked at the numbers, they admitted what they already knew, that we were not getting contracts. We did not have any jobs, and we do not have the training component that they promised. And we will ask that they put that in place immediately. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Particularly, I want to thank those folks who worked early on this project. Gillian Phillips, Father Benden, Nathan Fordon, Carol. There's many others I want to thank. Brother Shaheed. I guess Brother Shaheed went to the next function. But Brother Shaheed's one of those guys like Brother Baruti. He's going to always be there. We can always count on those gentlemen that we need to fight these type battles. And so we all won. We're not going to leave anyone out at this point. I'm asking all our organizations to come together. I'm asking that we put our differences aside and we should have a common interest. Our common interest is going to be economic development, economic opportunity, saving our community. Those should be 3 common interests that we all could agree on. So moving forward, I will be reporting all the activities on this project back to Miss Ollie Stewart as well as Percy Green. And again, thank you for coming.